welcome back to another video game analysis. So yes, today we are going to be looking over tutorials. And I remember a few years ago, I actually wanted to do this topic last year, but I guess I never did it. Tutorials is something that, like a few years ago, there's something about last generation of video games, PS3, Wii, Xbox 360, that really got people mad. I don't know what it was, but gamers were just mad about everything, and a lot of them were justified. Like, there was the DLC stuff, because this was a generation where, with online and the new business practices of gaming with HD and all the costs of making video games now, there's all this stuff they try to do, and some of them I thought, tutorials was one topic that caught my attention, because a lot of people would say, oh, games are so easy now, oh, they're just trying to hold your hand, and thankfully it's not something I hear much anymore, because I think that's kind of, some games just need to do that. The hold your hand game is something I think is pretty valid. There are types of tutorials where people would, just say, do this, do that, and then, are you playing the game, or are you following an instruction book, there was an opposite game, Sonic Lost World, and it didn't get much praise, but no matter what, you'd always hear people say, how do you do this? How do you do that? And well, isn't that what you wanted? Didn't you want a don't hold my hand game? It's just a complication. But that aside, tutorials aren't bad, but they aren't good either. There's right ways to do it, and there are wrong ways to do it. And it seems to me that everybody agrees that the wrong way to do it is just tell you what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. Now, there are very clever ways of using a tutorial, and there's very cool ways of using a tutorial, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, in between, I'm going to sprinkle in some ideas of some negative aspects of tutorials, but for the bits we're going to do today, I want very positive looks at such. So, yeah. Just so you know, these are 3 games that I've played for a while now, and I'm very familiar with these games, but I pretended that I never played them before. And this video might go on a little longer than the usual VGAB, but only because I want to show you guys how my thought process goes. It's kind of like I'm gonna instruct you on what my thinking was. When someone screws up in the game, it's like, no, you don't understand. What I was doing was this, and then it's like that's the kind of thing. So you'll see what I'm talking about as we go forward. So what really came to my surprise when I bought the Wii U version of Minecraft was there was actually a whole tutorial section, and I never played Minecraft on a console before. This is my first time. I always played it on my computer. So I wanted to give it a try. I wanted to see what a console version was like, and one day I also wanted to tackle the mobile version. But point is, I thought it was really interesting. Now, I did start the tutorial world already, and pretty much it led me to instructions to building a fort, and they wanted me to get to the basics. They taught me how to jump, how to run, how to take inventory, how the crafting system works in the console version of the game. That's this here. And here's an example of what they do in this tutorial place. They'll they'll tell you what buttons they use, they'll tell you what it's for, they'll tell you how to get supplies. They taught me how to make tools, all the very basic bare-bone necessities. And I went through them. I wanted to see what Minecraft tutorials were like, and I think it was handled really well. Basically speaking, once I got through all these things here, we're going to get to there soon, I started looking into what was the rest of the tutorial world was, because I tried to go through, well, here's a little look of that thing I built through the tutorial, but I tried to look into this part, and it would stop me and say, you must complete the tutorial section before coming in. Now they allowed me because I finished that, and that's where I left it off, because I really want to use it for today. And they had a little fireworks for me, because I did stuff. And yeah, I like this a lot. For an open game like Minecraft, a game built to have people figure things out and explore. The whole Minecraft is the style of game where you don't really need tutorial. It's not necessary because a tutorial game, putting tutorials in a sandbox game kind of is counterintuitive. When you put a sandbox, the point of a sandbox game is to discover, to learn, to try to learn, and especially since it's a survival game, that just adds another layer to it. You need to learn to survive. You can't just come in knowing everything and everything's going to be great. What's the fun in that? That being said, though, what I like about this is, this is a console version of Minecraft. You're going to want fans of Minecraft and not fans of Minecraft to come together. So that's why I think this tutorial was interesting. Not only that, but this tutorial map's completely optional in every way. If I was just really curious, I wanted to check it out. Get everything you need, you know. It's like every time I look at a type of a block long enough, it'll tell me what it's for. Here's me screwing around. I want to see if I can reach there. You know, they got all these they're giving me examples of buildings. They're showing me examples of food here. They're showing me examples of animals. It's really cool. I move on from here. I don't want to take too much time from here because, you know, this isn't going to be like the other two examples, being that Minecraft is a sandbox game. It's a game where you can do anything you want and handle it any way you want to. You know, a game where you learn how to optimize your experience in this sandbox world, you know. It makes it fun. So yeah, here's all the examples of animals. I move on to a place where they show you examples of mobs and examples of tools, and they show you, you know, I tried to focus on that egg there. I wanted to see if I can get that, but it was hard, you know. I think it's too far away to get a bio on that. And, you know, I move on, they show, you know, I like this stuff. It's really cool. Like, here we go, right across there. Now here's an example of horses and whatnot, you know, animals you can tame. I know you can tame wolves too, but, you know, whatever. I ended up in an area where they taught you how to fish and boat. You know, you walk forward. But then I turned around. It was starting to get nighttime, so that's a really interesting thing to show. You know, there's so many. I'm going to explore more of this world as I go on. I'm thinking about live streaming it, but, you know, that's another topic for another day. But, yeah, unfortunately, I'll just have to cut it off here with some more text there explaining you stuff. So, yeah, all right. So yeah, I thought it was really cool to make tutorials some sort of an option, and that does happen a lot in video games. Like there is a optional tutorial level, but you know that's more of a modern sense. I do want to go back not that far, but last generation where I want to show you how a simpler type of games use tutorials, and like where you know level design all started, side-scrolling platformers. So let's get right to it. So yeah, anyway, Kirby. Yep, time to do that referential thing we've been doing lately. Well, when it comes to the side-scrolling platform, that's really where a lot of need for tutorial began. And what I like about side-scrolling platformers, and many platformers like, is they get to use the game itself to teach you how to play. What I like about Kirby is they do that to the extreme. What I mean is, out there, I like how they start you outside. They let you feel around for what Kirby can do. And here, I love this. There's signs that teach you how to play. And, you know, it's not something you have to stop and to do and look at. It's not something, this first part here isn't even mandatory to do. You know, they give you a little, they give you that hill there. I like that, because it forces you to jump at one point. And, you know, you walk, there's that flower there. It makes sure you definitely walk through it. You know, and now they're telling you to suck it up again. Oh, now they're telling you to go down this time. You know, like, this is real, like, even if those signs weren't there, the level would lead you to make those decisions. But for now, they're still open-ended. They still allow you to have your breathing room discover things on your own. So obviously, I hit the 1 button again, which usually breathes in air, with my ability. Therefore, I figured out that, oh, these abilities do something. I figured out how to run, thank God, because I was sick of pretending I can't run in a Kirby game. And here I am pretending I don't understand what to do. Well, here I am figuring out, oh, wait a minute. I figured out the direction I take by hitting those enemies there that did a different move with this sword Kirby. And I figured out that if I walk into them, whether they attack or not, I'll get hurt. So it's really clever how that works. Here was a kind of a misstep by me. I shouldn't hit the minus button. They didn't teach you that yet, but I noticed there was another guy. And let's just say I was like pressing buttons until I figured out how to get rid of what I had. Now I'm playing around with the ability, seeing that there's different conditions to do different moves with my copy ability. So here's the first example of there's no way out of it. You have to follow these signs. There you go. So here's another thing. I have the key. I'm hitting the. I'm trying to use an attack there, like I usually can, but I figured out, oh, I can't do that while holding something. And obviously, they force you to use that key to get in there. That's where a cog would be, the collectibles and the levels, to show you that they were there. But obviously, I played this level already, so they're just stars for 1-ups, which I'll also figure that out. Alright, so now they teach me how to get rid of a copy ability. And now they're teaching me how to do a new ability that came with Kirby Return to Dreamland being on the Wii. Yeah, like a lot of Kirby games, especially more recent ones, do this in the tutorial level, and I really like that. So here's a big enemy. Obviously, the regular breath didn't do anything, so I tried that new skill I learned. And it rewarded me. You know, that reward process is really good. Here's another thing here. Now, I could keep going to the right, like the game always said to me, but I remembered that. I remembered that platform for when they taught me how to go through it. I go down there, and it gave me a little present. It rewards you for thinking outside the box. That's what good level design does anyway, but at the same time, it's the tutorial saying, hey, now you're getting it, look out for this. And you know, now I know these flowers give me stars. And this guy, ooh, shiny. Let me see. Oh, regular breath gets him, and whoa, what's with the animation? Obviously, there's something important about this. Obviously, those stars there mean something special is going to happen, but even if they weren't there, I would have hit it anyway. Because it's in my way, and I don't feel like jumping up those steps with Waddle Dees in them. So here's another example, except with a more dangerous enemy, showing if I really know what I'm doing here. Obviously, I missed some stuff there, so I kept going. And boom! I know this sounds like I'm realizing now, I know this sounds like a bad Let's Play commentary, but, you know, there really is a point to all this. Like, you know, like, this whole level is, level 1 here is designed to be a tutorial level, and a lot of times you'll find that developers do tutorial levels last. You know? And I should have mentioned too, obviously I figured out that food can replenish my health. And here we go. Something special happened this time, something I kept doing multiple times. They gave me that repetition, so I definitely learned what to do with these special abilities when they appear. So obviously I try to keep my distance, I don't know if it's bad or not, but I go for it. And it gives me this level. Trying to figure out if that's bad. It looks like it. This clearly looks like an auto-scroller, so I'm going to keep going using the skills I learned. Because I don't have a copy ability anymore. So, I got to use all the skills I learned without depending on that really powerful copy ability. Bam. And then I figured out, oh cool, the more I suck in, the more power my attack has. And once again, they're just reincorporating some skills that I might not have used since I learned the first time. Because it was, I thought, huh, probably not necessary anymore. You know, like I find this really cool. How game developers, like a lot of time, yes, they'll make the tutorial last because they want to show you, they want to design a level to show you all of what you expect in the game. So here are two power-ups I'm already introduced to. So I'm trying to figure out what they do, and yeah, I'm like, oh, I know these, but I prefer the Sword Kirby. So I'm going to keep going, and all this empty space, those two there, it prepares me for our first boss battle. And obviously from the health meter, I find out, oh, so that's not the, you know, this is not a normal enemy that dies in 1 or 2 hits. I actually do have to fight him as he's a boss, you know, I find him important, or a mini-boss, if you will. I found out there, which I really liked, is I was able to attack those. So I knew that I missed. Darn it, I was trying to hit him with the rest of my. That's what I usually do in Kirby. I knew that that is a thing I can use to project back at him, because there has to be a way Kirby can fight back. And there we go. Then I got those. Got a 1-up by collecting 100 of those. And I found out, oh, that's a good item to look out for. They put it right there in the middle to know that that's how you get all your health back. Yipperoonie. So then you end this off. So, you know, I'm just doing my thing. I'm still trying to kill the enemies. And obviously this is a special door. I want to get all those flowers because I learned what they're for. And there you go. And right there, goal game. So it's teaching me, oh, this is like a game. Oh, well, what am I getting ready for? Well, there you go. Press 2. And yeah, how cool is that? Now, there is a way where that kind of tutorial can get intrusive, where it's like, Oma Chow, I think, is a good example. But again, you know, it is an option to tap Oma Chow, but ultimately, I like that style tutorial the most, where the level is designed in a way where you have to learn these skills, and they incorporate all the basic necessities to play the game. And, you know, throughout there, you get little clues in the future to incorporate those skills, and that's what all the rest of the levels are going to do anyway. So yeah, but that's a simple game, right? I mean, it's easy to take a side-scroller and map out how you want to teach someone something. You know, it's a very good, productive and excellent way to teach. But, like, what if it was something more open-ended, more complicated, like an RPG? Well, I got that part prepared for you. So, Earthbound, it's a big world, there's a lot to do. Yes, it's an older game, but the point still stands with a lot of RPGs. A role-playing game is much more complicated. Whether it's isometric view or 3D, it's a large environment, and it's known for any 3D game as well. But how do you map that out? How do you make sure a player does things? Well, here I am. I just woken up. I'm able to move around this single room, and I'm trying things. I figured out the L button actually checks things for me. I figured out what the A button does, what the B button does. I was trying out all the buttons. So I walk into that door, and I did something right. I'm trying to check everything. I'm trying to see what things can do. Go into that room, because it's a door I noticed. Oh, it's another door. I can go through that like I did last time. Can I talk to this person? Yes, I can. And I should have done that in reverse. Should have talked to first and then tried the L button, but you get the idea. So here I am trying to check things. I'm trying to look at my menu. I'm trying to see what does what. I like the space they give you with Ness in the beginning of Earthbound, where he wakes up in his bedroom. You can try things out. So here's a present. Can I try something? Yes, I can. I checked it, and there's a bat inside. So I'm like, well, what is that? It's an item. So I put it inside my bag. It said that. I leave the room. I'm like, what am I going to do? Okay, so I'm going to check that goods. I'm going to check that. I'm going to check my status. Sure, why not? So there's a help option. I'm going to figure out what that does. I know what give and drop does. That's obvious. And it just says, Ness can equip this as a weapon. I go to equip. Weapon, because that's the introduction. Very well done. Now we'll go down the stairs, see if I can do that. Yes, I can. So now I'm stopping bothering, checking everything, because it's clear that you probably know what you have to check or not. So I'm going to talk to my mother. It's another person I can talk to, like my sister in the beginning. This time there's even more people I can talk to, but then there's this part I always hate, where she just boots you back. I kind of wish Ness was just got dressed in the first place half the time. But what are you going to do? So back here, they want you to keep walking around. They want you to keep figuring out what's optimal way of traveling. I'm going to talk to that dog. There's a telephone. Traditionally, you talk to it. Can I check it? Oh, yes, well, it did something, so I'll keep that in mind for later. So what they were saying in the dialogue was, there's this big crash. I made it very clear in the beginning. And, as a 10-year-old boy, I want to investigate. And the mother said, well, you're going to go anyway. So go to look and come back and go to bed. And there's more people I can go to. And like many video games, you get gravitated to the right, especially since it's such a shorter path than the other one. And here's what I really like with RPGs. They block off progress. I hate it when an RPG doesn't, and then you skip the whole section. And it's like there's parts where you just have to know what to do. And that's something that's guilty of every RPG at one point or the other. But this time I'm going to go this way, because I notice there's another house, there's another person. I like the position of that NPC I'm talking to currently, because he is, there's a suggestion that, oh, well, maybe I should be attracted over here. It's another house. Let me go inside. It's something that's familiar to me, this idea of a house. There's another person. I'm going to talk to everything. I'm going to check everything. That's the big idea here. And look, here's a little more backstory for this child. It's not important. I'm going to keep looking at this house. I remember stairs. I'm going to go up those. That's what I like about Earthbound. Like, Earthbound gets a lot of flack for its art style, which I like. It is... obviously, of course, the Earthbound fan was going to say that, but I like things like the stairs and the doors being consistently looking the same, just maybe a different color now and then. Because, it does help the player know what you can interact with or not without outright telling you. So if I'm going to the last path, this must be progress. There's more police officers. Obviously... The police officer is an obvious sign that there's something interesting forward. That we want to keep working at getting here and whatnot. So we're moving on. More bad Let's Play commentary. Seriously, this is what all the people on Retsupre get made fun of for. I'm doing this right now. I'm doing that. I'm going to make a crazy voice for this NPC. Oh, well. Alright, so there's another present. Obviously, I'm familiar with that. And it gave me a bread roll. So I'm going to find out what that is, like I did last time. Bread roll. So that, yeah, I like the very clear and concise descriptions. I can't go that way, so I'm going to go up the curvature. There's a clearly drawn path they want me to go to. I think that's a very important point here that you should know. When you have these areas, there's a clearly drawn... That's what I like about this mountain in general, to the goal here. We got a nice, clear path. Now, this guy's not letting me go in that house. He's just telling me that... And then the whole that's just showing that, hey, these are signs. You can read these for information. Ooh. And we got at the same roadblock that prevented me before, so I know I can't get any further. I'm at least going to try to talk to these people and see what the most I can find out. And yeah, obviously he's an important character because his color pattern is so different than everybody else's, you know? Whoopsie. I accidentally talked to him more than once. That was my bad. Talk to this guy. So I like how these guys don't say much, you know, they're going to get really quick so I can keep going, because the point is I have to keep going to what was interesting. I like how you can barely see what's wrong, you can see other people that I can't talk to. I've been so interested in talking to people, figure out what's going on, and I can't access that one part there. So obviously there's nowhere to go but back. You know, I've already explored everything, I'm going to go straight back. What am I going to do? You know, there's nothing else to do. There's a little house there in the corner. I can't reach that. You know, like I like that too. There's this element of placing things that are out of reach. You know, something that it's interesting, you know. So we're just heading back. And there's something new. My mother's in front of the house now and I can't enter it, much like the last guy. So everything's the same. I'm going to go to her. That's the only difference. The only difference in when I came back. So the only thing I can do for progress is to say yes to her. And now we're continuing this kind of cutscene we had before that I cut out because I showed this cutscene so many times in the VGAB, and if you haven't played Earthbound by now, it's on the Wii U totally, and the 3DS, you know, totally pick it up. Okay, so now I know what to do now. I'm going to streamline through, but there is that difference of the knocking rather than hearing the crash. This time my sister is out there in the open, so I'm going to talk to her for a little information. And, you know, of course, I have to answer it. I talk to the dog one more time. And, oh, this is new. This time that same character I met before at the end was able to come in. Like, normally I, as the character, can only go through doors. Yep. So now we're having a little... This is a clue here. When in RPGs, when you meet certain important NPCs or when they interact with you, it's always important what they have to say, and it really gives you the way you can progress next. And, you know, that's a big part of every RPG where you're in towns and you talk to people, you try to figure out what the main story is there, and eventually the more you play an RPG, that's what's great about RPGs to me. The more you play them, the more fun you can have them with, because you're more and more familiar with it. So they're doing this again, a little consistency, more repetition. They want, you know, the repetition. You know, we talked about that in the last bit too. That's important. And they're, you know, this is what I like. You know, the mother even mentions I should talk to the dog, so I'm going to do that. You know, I like that the mom mentions that, because now I introduce this idea of party members. And I'm going to do that again with Picky Porky. Okay, now this I like. Before we exit, now that telephone I was able to interact with is ringing, you know. It's a nice animation there to show what to do. And it's your dad, you know, he was obviously missing from the house, and here he is. And he's explaining to you what you can do, which basically is telling you can save and he can check how much progress you have till your next level up. And he can tell you about how to have money in this game. So yeah, we're going to end it off here. There's more to this, but, you know, I think I've made my point, and then some. You know, these are things that are easy to screw up tutorials. It's easy to just go way too much or way too little. But when you find that balance, you know, it's, you know, creating a tutorial is just as important as creating any other level. And, you know, sometimes you can make it optional. Sometimes you can make it, like, in a separate section. Like in Star Fox Zero, where there's a training mission. There's training missions. And, you know, where you can just get a feel for the vehicle, and then that becomes a game itself where you get the highest score in that level, and you try to do the most you can. And, you know, then there's games where you just have a separate tutorial level in general. And, you know, it's always good when tutorials are complete options, like Billboard from the Mario 3D games. You don't have to take your time to read those, but you can, and it does have helpful information on the lore or on a certain platforming section. It gives you tips and clues. And yeah, you know, then like something Paper Mario does that I really like, or Mario RPGs in general, is they always have a guide that'll help you with these things. And sometimes, yeah, they can just like stop you and you're like, oh, I want to keep going. But they only teach you what's absolutely necessary. So with that being said, I want to do a part 2 to this because we're going to talk about level design. I kind of tipped at it a little bit this time. I probably said a lot anyway about level design. You know, not without using the word level design, but, you know, we're going to go over that anyway. And yeah. Yeah. If there's anything I missed, if there's anything I got wrong, if there's anything you would like to add to the conversation, please do not hesitate to leave a comment. You should like and subscribe. You know how it works. Thank you all so much for watching. I've been Billy, your video game analyzer. Have a good day, good night whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you next time.